I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is Symmetry. The name of the song is Deus Ex Machina.
This is for big homie Derek.
Ghost Prototype II-Deus Ex Machina. So, if you guys remember, we had a situation where a fellow villager's coworker died of COVID, and if you did a donation in the name of the village, we would count that as because you get the $125 tier where you're able to.
But we said send the money to them instead, and if
Correct.
you do, then we will still do the song reaction for you.
Correct.
But it'll get the help for them because they had to pay for funeral costs
Correct.
and stuff. So.
We raised, I think, a couple $1,000s for the big homie and helped out that family.
So this is like one of the last songs I think that we owe people.
Yeah, I think I've got one more left for Alan, and then we'll be good. But anyway, who is this? Derek.
This is for Derek.
Thank you so much for your patience, my brother.
He said he tried to pick a song that wasn't one we had already, like a band we'd already reacted to.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about Symmetry, but I don't think we've ever done anything from them, so I'm actually pretty interested in this.
He said this was when the band still had their original singer, Christian. When he left, they had to replace him with two people to cover the range of the voice.
Good Lord.
That's crazy.
That would be
That makes me super curious. I cannot wait to hear what these people sound like.
That would be like what would happen if, Tool or something. Maybe they have to have like 9 singers for the big homie Maine.
Yep. Or if I had to replace you on this channel, I'd be like, I need 6 people to cover Vin's range.
That's right. Don't get any ideas, you dumb butts.
All right, ready?
All right. Let's go. Symmetry, Ghost Prototype II, Deus Ex Machina. Let's go. Holographic Universe.
Caged inside a dream. All seeing eye sees a float. Soon it will see no more.
Okay. I'm expected. Oh, wow. That type of art, that's the type I really like to hear. There's a certain level of like clean cutness to it. And then also, like, if you look at the artwork on the, I'm assuming that this is the album cover. I love like these
interlocking circles.
Yeah, and you know, stuff that can be kind of spirally and stuff. I really, really, really think that's super cool. And just the way that they worked their instruments, it's so artistic to me.
Yeah.
And I can see why it would take multiple people to do the vocal stuff there.
That's all one guy?
Yeah.
I need to see that live.
Yeah.
Somebody make a live
Bring
request.
the band out. We're not
Somebody
sure.
make a live request.
He's not in there anymore.
Well, I mean,
Oh, you mean they
I'm
won this
sure
recorded?
they have video of
Okay, I
the-
just wasn't sure because you wanted to interview John Lennon, so I didn't know what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Did you see somebody said that was your greatest missed interview?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, so this is obviously a concept record, right?
Yeah.
Holographic universe. It starts off with Morphogenesis, Time Wave Zero, Quantum Leaper, Artificial Sun Projection, Prism and Gate, Three-Dimensional Shadow, and then it ends with Ghost Prototype. So Ghost
Yeah, this is the
Prototype
last
1 is Measurement of Thought, which is right at the halfway point of the record. It's song 6, and there's 12 songs in there. Ghost Prototype 2 is Deus Ex Machina, and that's Deus Ex Machina is a very interesting concept. You remember that
The movie?
movie? Actually,
Yeah.
It was Ex Machina, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't Deus Ex Machina.
No, I just remember.
There's a video game called Deus. So Deus Ex Machina is actually it's a literary device where when you're reading literature
Yeah.
and like everything sucks and it's horrible and da 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 and there's no hope and then all of a sudden some random thing happens and things turn out well. That's a literary device called Deus Ex Machina.
Really?
Yeah. It's basically God. Deus would be God, and then
Yeah.
outside the machine or in the machine or whatever. So it's when something comes and just like saves the day when everything looks completely hopeless. I generally don't like those in literature because I'm like, it's just too simple.
That's fake.
It's just too simple. Well, it's not. It's just simple. But probably the best of Tolkien had his own form of Deus. I mean, it happened a lot in the Lord of the Rings. There's this horrible fight, blah blah blah. Helm's Deep. All the elves show up.
Yeah.
Or everybody's losing, everybody's gonna quit, and then what's his face? Gandalf shows up. With, Gandalf! And I think he called it. It was something with Eucharist in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just made it up. He made up the terms like you carry on or something like that, which is just another form of Deus Ex Machina, where something. So I don't know the storyline of this particular universe in this album, but it looks to me like there's probably like some mad scientist or something, or they create some holographic world and people are trapped within this stuff, and then this happens, Ghost Prototype 2 happens, and you can tell like in the chorus it's very empowering. Change how you look at all things and what you see will change. It's a very interesting line. Change how you look at all things and what you see will change. Right? Does that make sense?
Say it again.
Change how you look at all things and what you see will change.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Which is that forgot
Absolutely.
the name of that scientific experiment where the particles
The observation thing.
yeah and they change based on the quantum physics stuff where like when the thing is observed it's different and whatever, and that's when people started going, wait a second.
This is odd.
This is very strange.
Put this in my worldview.
Right. Observer and what is observed can never break in two. See, I'm pretty sure that that's the backdrop here, is that physics, that concept in physics where,
That's what I was thinking
physics.
of, honestly, when the song was going on.
And he explicitly says it. Yeah, and then it says the quantum revolution never ceases to evolve, forever shedding skin. Okay, so it's really interesting because he's taken when was this written? 2008? he's taking the concept of, and again, it's holographic universe, so it's very possible. You know, I do think we're in a holographic universe, actually. And I think there's a lot of strange stuff in this universe that we haven't even been on the bottom of the anthill of, much less the foothill of a mountain. So, which is why Eternity is going to be so exciting. I'm excited for Eternity mostly because of scientific.
It's not just clouds and harps, you mean?
Yeah.
And naked baby angels?
No. I'm excited for Eternity mostly because of the scientific discoveries that are going to happen perpetually for all time. Which is, I thought you wanted to be God. Well, it is God. It's the glory of God in the science, whatever. But
well, I think, like, when I think about it, I'm like, I want to see and hear more about the past. But
right.
then,
no, I agree. Yeah, which I believe is going to happen too. So, so definitely they're taking the quantum physics route with this song. It's kind of like a, but it's cool because they're drawing life principles from out of this science fiction story. It seems because. It's talking about we will not conform, we're Ghost in the Machine. Ghost in the Machine is kind of a rough translation of Deus Ex Machina.
okay.
So Deus,
I see what
Deus
you mean.
is actually God.
Yeah.
So like when we say a person's made in the imago Dei, that we're saying the image of God. So it's Latin. So he's saying we are the ghost in the machine, and in this sense, I think he's saying we are our own gods and our own saviors, basically, because we refuse to conform to the holographic universe or whatever. And then it says, all things you are fought against, even though their time has come. Stretch and reach to conscious minds, seek defeat in those who fear. So it looks like maybe these people were creating a holographic universe to kind of play some sort of role. But then it's one of those like AI nightmares where the machine becomes conscious of itself, like in the movie Ex Machina, where the machine becomes conscious of itself. So maybe it's one of those situations where the machines become conscious of itself, and then they're trying to break out of the holographic universe and explore and see what's happening, because now they've got their own autonomy, which you can then take as a metaphor. I almost said metaphor. You can take it as a metaphor for, real life, where you have a very small group of people who shape, like, for example, if you look at the media, change how you look at things and what you see will change. Like, we were just talking about this, when we were playing Fortnite just now, where I was talking about how these people, and it doesn't matter, left or right, whatever agenda they have, they're trying to tell us not to believe our lying eyes. So you got these crazy cops who shoved this guy, a 75-year-old guy, and it's obvious that they shoved the guy and cracked his skull open on the ground, and then that doesn't help certain groups in the narratives that they had. So here comes Trump putting out some stupid conspiracy theory, and if you want to check, silliness, go check the comment section in Middle America for that video. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm not supposed to believe my lying eyes about what these bastards did to this guy. But then conversely, recently, we had the same situation on the other side, where you got a guy who's fighting, punching dudes in the face, grabbing their weapons, shooting and these cops are just out of control. Right. So we're not supposed. So it's really and I'm seeing people going along with it. It's really interesting that even though both of us could see the exact same situation, when there is all of this political freight that's being smuggled into it, and there are people's confirmation biases for or against. There's things, I tell people all the time when we talk about faith and things like that, and I say that, and I'm sure I didn't make this up, I'm sure I copied it somewhere, I just forgot who it was, but I always say that faith is an exercise in volition, not cognition, meaning a lot of the things that we believe or disbelieve because we choose to believe or disbelieve in. It's not just because we just need to be convinced. People are not androids that are just information processors. Like, there are things that we want to believe, there are things that we want to be true, and there are other things that we don't want to be true. So if
I see that like walked out so many times when you're in debates with people.
100%.
And you can tell like the person all of a sudden hits a point where they're like, whoa.
Correct.
But then they like say something else, or they say, well, that's a stupid question, or you can tell
Right.
that they have something in their head that they want to stick with, even though what you just said made them question it for a second.
100%.
They're not going to go any further with that. So.
100%, and that's why I stay up so late, because I'm actually, because everybody has it. Everybody has it. Everybody's perspective is colored by what they want to be true versus what they don't want to be true.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, if you believed your entire life that your dad was a superhero and he was the greatest person in the world, and it just turns out that your dad, let's say your dad was some horrible mayor that, cheated on your mom a million times and, like, completely decimated the city so that he could end up with millions. Like, you're not going to take that information as just an android. You're going to try to find some way to belie that whole narrative because you don't want it to be true. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at observation and you can even, and it's really interesting, like people say to me like, oh, if Jesus appeared in the room, I would believe. Why? Because you could see it with your eyes? How many things have you seen with your eyes that have been denied by other people who've seen the same thing with their eyes? We're looking at the same stuff, but again, your presuppositions and your emotional
the way you see things.
Yeah, there's so many things that go against us being able to ascertain objective truth. There's your preconceived notions. There's your understanding of what is possible and what is impossible. There's what you want to be true. There's what you don't want to be true. There's so many things. There's the implications for your life in the future if X thing is true. There's so many things that, that marshal, that are against us in being able to ascertain what is true. So change how you look at all things and what you see will change is a powerful line, and that can be positive or negative. Because the folks in the media have figured out, like, for example, with the recent video I did on Middle America, people in the comment section have been saying, I've been watching this on CNN for a couple hours. The video that you just showed, I haven't seen. The one where the little flash from the... And it was funny, too, because even the reporter, when he was reporting it, he's like, you can see a flash that may possibly be him shooting the dart. Like,
I thought that was a strange...
What do you mean possible? What do you think happened? But again, it's
camera.
They understand that even if you see something, if they frame it a certain way, it influences, it changes what people see. So the bad guys in the media have figured this out, and I'm not talking about Don Lemon and all that. I'm talking about the people that run these organizations.
Yeah.
Don Lemon and those guys, they're just stooges that are regurgitating what they're supposed to regurgitate. But I said it in the last video. I was like, man, we're in a day and age where the truth should be so easy to get now because we have it on camera
in many angles.
But people, how people say picture's worth 1,000 words and a video's worth 1,000 pictures. I'm not sure. I'm starting to believe that the spoken word is actually the most powerful element in the metaphysical world, which obviously goes along very well with John 1:1, because what I'm starting to see is that even though you see something, when it's framed verbally in a certain way, it changes people's perception of what they're seeing.
Yeah,
so like,
that's accurate.
Most neutral people who don't know anything, they see George Floyd get sat on for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, 2 minutes and 35 of which he was unconscious. Most people immediately go, oh my God, that's horrible. But then here comes Candace Owens, and with her words, she vilifies and dehumanizes this brother. And now when certain people who already have certain biases look at it, it's completely different now. So now I'm starting to think, I feel like the spoken word is actually the most powerful element in the metaphysical universe that even trumps our vision. Because our vision is a gateway into reality. But the funny thing is, and something just came out a couple months ago, and it was like a big flash in the pan, and then it went away. But there were like these people that don't think. In other words, they don't have any self-talk. They don't speak in their own mind. Yeah,
Okay.
There's people that don't speak in their own mind, that don't speak to themselves. And it made news because most of us do.
Yeah.
So, so it's really interesting because.
How does that happen?
Well, yeah, that's I have no
Are they
idea.
are they like dangerous people?
No, these are regular people. It was pretty.
Regular people that don't talk through themselves?
It's funny that it's funny. Like we talked about this when it happened.
Yeah, I know, but the concept is like.
Yeah.
I do remember talking about it. I actually remember somebody else being involved in that discussion because I remember what they had said about it. But I still feel like, how does that work?
Right. Yeah. There's no internal monologue.
If you have no internal.
Yeah. So here's my point. My point, yeah, right there. QA with a person who does not have internal monologue. So my point is, like, the eyes are a gateway.
So they must be quick to answer everything and say everything.
I mean, I don't know.
There's no discussion to be had in your head.
I don't know. I don't know how those people operate because I'm not one of those people, and I've never talked to somebody like that. But the eyes are a gateway to reality. But what happens is you talk to yourself and tell yourself what you're seeing. So you're saying, "Oh, that's a cat. Oh, that's $5. Da 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 da." So there's another step that happens in your mind, even beyond what you see visually speaking. So the same thing happens with a mirage. Your eyes are telling you that you see something, but you're not. So for me, I'm like, okay, the spoken word is more powerful than any picture or video, whatever, and the media has figured that out. So the media has figured that out, and so now we're in a situation where you have no choice but to say, look, we all have cell phones now. So for example, when Trump was saying the guy fell harder than he was pushed, and then you start seeing people rewind the tape and going, oh yeah, he did fall harder than he was pushed. You know what I mean? But because he said that, and because they're disciples and acolytes of this guy, they're going to. This is not about Trump or not Trump or whatever. Just focus for a second. I know some of you Trumpers, you're going to get triggered. This is not about Trump or not Trump. What this is about is it's about how words can craft reality even as you're looking at reality. That's what I'm saying. And if you are an influential person, you can use words to craft realities that are not there. And then what happens is people start slowing down the video. They go, oh yeah, yeah. And it's like, and it's the same thing with this thing where people are like, oh well, he shot the taser, and then by that time he didn't have any weapons, so the cop shouldn't have drew his gun. And then what they're doing is they're taking the tape and they're slowing it down. They go, see, and like you've got 9, 10, 11 seconds to look at the moment between the shot and the cop shooting, and it's like, yeah, that cop had 1 second in real time.
Right.
The cop had 1
that
second
thing
in real
flipped
time.
really fast.
Yeah.
That guy, because everything
100%.
seemed like it was pretty,
Right.
just regular. I was like, when they were cuffing him, and then all of a sudden he just flipped. It was, to me, it seemed very unexpected. It was a little bit freaky like that. I remember you had showed me this video of a cop that was arresting the guy, and he was asking him, "Do you have anything?" He was like, "Just gum," or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And like it literally was like it was so fast, and the guy put off I didn't get any read from him that he was
a little bit weird, but you didn't think he's gonna blow this guy away.
He did. He pulled the gun out and boom.
Yeah.
The cop was dead.
Yeah. But again, it's like, you can look at these videos, and now you can kind of like, we're in this kind of like almost divine, omniscient situation where we're outside of time observing time, because that's what's happening on a video, and you're rewinding and you're breaking down the machinations of what happened in this video. But in reality, that's not what happened in real time. It's not what happened in real life. It's just like with the NFL, where like there's a pass interference call or something like that, and it's like marginal, like it's on the line. But then what happens is they slow it down and they go, see, he did touch him before the football, but it's like a half a second, right? But again, but the reason I'm bringing that up is because people who are are from New Orleans, you know, the New Orleans Saints. They are convinced that the NFL is against them. So there was one obvious play where it was absolutely obvious that cost them a trip to the Super Bowl, which in my mind didn't cost them a trip to the Super Bowl. There was one obvious play, and ever since then, people from the Saints fan base believe that the league is against them. So any little marginal call, that narrative
that's
is
proof.
Yeah, and you know they'll look, it's 2 seconds and yada yada yada. And so like that's why that line just stuck to me like it was crazy, because that is a positive and a negative that change how you look at all things, and what you see will change. That's positive and negative, and the way that you do that is via the spoken word, which explains why God gave us a Bible and not a video collection, because words are more powerful than pictures or video. And that's why Jesus is called the Word in John chapter 1 and not called the video of God. And it's because words are the most powerful mechanism of reality creation. And again, from a biblical perspective, it's words that created the world. So I've come to the conclusion, based on this song as I was listening actually, that the spoken word is more powerful.
It's interesting because you know how they always say, like, if someone is blind, that their like other senses heighten.
Correct.
But I haven't heard it said like if someone is deaf, then their other senses will heighten. Like you always hear that about when you're blind,
right?
Then the other ones can increase.
Correct. That's a good point. But again, I mean, even a deaf person can still have that self-talk, although that should be a very...
No, I'm not talking about self-talk. I'm just talking about
very interesting form.
Spoken word.
But yeah, the power of the spoken word.
Right.
Right. And then we'll probably have some doctors say, actually, when you're deaf, you get 1919 vision. You're dumb, sorry. Yeah, so I think this is about, I think like most directly, this is probably about machines who have now reached a level of consciousness and then autonomy, and then now they're going outside of the the holographic universe. But I think metaphorically it could be speaking about deprogramming from the people who are trying to program us into a certain way of looking at the world, and then thinking for ourselves and having the new change and resisting people that it says right there, it's like all things new are fought against. And I think what's happening in our country right now is like we're all kind of looking around and saying we need a new version of America. So whether it was healthcare 4 or 5 months ago, the big thing was healthcare, and now we're talking about race relations. People are like, we need a new America, and these are the birth pains for a new America, and we're either going to die in childbirth or deliver something really beautiful. And obviously, being the optimist that I am, I'm thinking it's B and not A, because I don't think God's done with our country yet. Can't be done with our country with people like, Alec and Kellandros running around. We got too many national treasures. So, this is a very, very good song. It's very deep. I'll be thinking about this probably for the next 18 days as we consider our current cultural seats in Laban. What do you get the song?
It's a 9.9 for me.
9. I love the metal in this song, man.
It was just the whole sound of it was just.
There's some like nice, really cheap, which I love to do, which is all exclusively what I play. And one of these days, you guys are gonna be able to hear our new metal song if somebody would remember their lines and put the vocal tracks down. Jay Dispirited is still waiting for my guitar track, so there's that. I gotta buy that. There's a thing that I need to buy, but it's all good. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.